What's up, FOA squad? I'm Anthony, and welcome to our channel, Life with Anthony. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Happy whatever day I get to post this video for you guys. Today, guys, is our monthly Q&A. But before I get into the Q&A, I want to show you guys and tell you guys about what my Halloween idea or decorations for my site is going to be for this year. Now, I've ordered so many things to make this idea of mine come true, and I'm super excited about it because last year all I had was this tall, like Martian-like blow-up type of deal that the wind kept blowing it down and it was hard to keep it stable. But this year I'm taking a different approach, and I'm going to be more grounded with my Halloween designs and decorations this year. So let me quickly turn you guys around and show you and talk to you about what this year Halloween decoration idea I have for my site. Okay, first of all, what a beautiful day here on the campground. Can we just take a second and take this all in? It is almost mid-October, and this is what Florida is giving. I am absolutely loving it. It's about 82 degrees. It feels nice out here. I'm enjoying it. It's not too hot, and it's all good. Okay, so my Halloween decorations and idea is going to be right in here. This whole little brick pavement type of section here is where I'm going to decorate this site for Halloween. Now, my idea is to turn this little pad here, this little brick pad, into a cemetery. It's going to have all kinds of rest in peace tombstones, and it's going to also have like all kinds of creepy creatures laying around on the ground. I'm so super excited. I ordered so much stuff from Amazon to make this idea of mine come true. Now, one of the highlights of my decorations this year is going to be the return of my mannequin. So let me turn you guys back around. Yes, I am finally getting my mannequin out of storage. It has been in storage now for a little over a year, and so it's time for him to reappear. And what better time to bring him out of storage than Halloween? He's going to be dressed for the occasion, dressed for the part. I'm super excited about that as well. He's going to be one of the main attractions on the cemetery type of situation that I'm thinking of doing. And I'm super, super excited to do it. Now, there's been many times where I had a great idea and my, it didn't turn out right. It was great in my head, but it didn't quite turn out. But based on all the things that I bought, I am super excited and very confident that I'm going to do a very good job this year with Halloween. And I also bought myself a Halloween costume this year. Now, Halloween has never, ever been my holiday, especially as an adult. It was as a kid because, you know, you go trick-or-treating, you get some candy, that's all good for the kids. But as an adult, I never cared for Halloween. But since I've had this campsite here, I seem to be getting more and more into Halloween, especially with decorating my campsite. And it's not about competing with other people in the campground. It's about seeing, can I improve my Halloween decorations on the site each year? And I know for a fact that this year's decorations are going to definitely outdo my last year decorations. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to get all my things from Amazon and get a better picture of, you know, what things is going to look like, the layout and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys are going to be excited for that. Of course, I'm going to make a video around the campground to show you guys what everybody else has done to their sites, as well as what the campground owners have done around the campground as well. So Halloween is super excited. They have a Halloween party, which I did attend. They had like I think it was a afternoon lunch Because remember, I had the whole black outfit on, and I only was able to keep it on for like 10 minutes because it was so super hot. Well, this year I'm taking a different approach. So if it is sunny like it is now, and we happen to be outdoors, which I'm pretty sure we will, uh, I will not be as hot as I was last year. So, life is about learning from your mistakes and not repeating those mistakes. And this October for Halloween, I definitely, as far as my costume, have learned from last year. All right, so let me go take a seat and let's get into this Q&A. I chose 10 questions for the Q&A. Ooh, my eyes are red. Probably because I just now took a shower. I don't know if that makes sense, but anywho, let's get down with these questions. Hopefully I can see these without my eyeglasses because I left my eyeglasses in the trailer. All right, as I mentioned, I'm going to be answering 10 questions from you guys. All right, so the first question is from Open Mind 748, and Open Mind 748 asks, how many more world traveling trips do you think you will do? As many as I can. There are so many different countries and so many different places out there that I am interested in going to see for one reason or another. Some of the places is I don't really have a particular reason of why I want to go there. I just want to go there to see what it's like over there and to visit and experience their country, culture. I don't have a particular method of choosing where or what country I want to visit. Again, I just get online, look up some things, and decide from there. So hopefully I would get to see at least maybe 10 to 15 more countries. Who knows? As long as I am healthy and able to travel and have the resources to travel, I'm going to keep going. So as many as I can get going and get to see. Okay, the next question comes from Lantion7113. And Lantion, can't wait to see you again. Lantion asks, I remember a while back you talked a lot about going to every baseball stadium. Do you still have the desire to do that? I do not have the desire to do that. I have not kept up with baseball in several years. I can't even tell you who is on my home team. So no, I don't have the desire to do that. I don't even know who's on who team right now. The past few years, I have been getting more and more into NFL football and as well as tennis. So baseball has sort of taken the back burner of my interest in terms of sports. So I'm not interested in doing that right now. All right. So the next question comes from Kick It With Christine 331. Kick It With Christine 331 asks, do you think that you will ever go back to an apartment in the future? Absolutely not. I have no intentions of going back into apartment living. That would, in my opinion, be going backwards from a financial standpoint. I have a nice site here. I pay $3,600 a year for this site, which is probably 2 to 3 months of what people are paying for their mortgage and or their apartment for rent. So from a financial standpoint, it just makes so much more sense for me to stay where I am and, ride it out. The good thing about this lifestyle is if anything changes within this campground, all I have to do is hitch my trailer up to my truck and be on my way. I have a storage unit here in Florida. I can put whatever I need to on this campground in there, and I can be on my way. So I like to situate my life where hypotheticals, if hypothetically this happens, how would I handle that? So if by chance it happens, I won't go into panic mode because I already had a plan in mind from the very beginning. This is a very interesting lifestyle to live because it doesn't limit you. It doesn't, you know how when some people, let's say, I hope it never happens to anybody, but unfortunately it does, some people get evicted. You know, first of all, it's very stressful, I would imagine. And second of all, you have to worry about what you're going to do with your things, this, that, and the other. Well, I already have my plan B in my head in case of, you know, something doesn't go right or this campground idea goes south. I don't think that it will go south though, because I'm very quiet. I keep to myself on the campground. I go to some of the campground events, and for the most part, that's it. I do and have met a lot of people on the campground, a lot of the perm people on the campground. So whenever I am in the mood to socialize, you know, I can do that. But no to a department. Okay, the next question comes from K Flowers 1267. And K Flowers 1267 asks, please list the vacations you went on in 2025. I haven't kept up this year. And why have you not kept up this year, K Flowers 1267? Okay, so I went on four vacations this year, or 4 out of the country trips this year. I started the year off going to Portugal, which is by far my least favorite trip that I went on. And then I followed that trip up with a trip to Japan, which I absolutely love because it was my second time going to Japan. And this time it was an itinerary trip that I did with the travel group called Exotica. I absolutely loved that trip. I mean, I fell in love with the whole itinerary type of trip. It takes a lot of stress or a lot off of you to try to figure out what you want to do when you go certain places. So, and then I followed that trip up with a trip to Sweden. I really enjoyed that trip as well. And then my last trip, which I just took, was the 7-day cruise to Greece, Italy, and Turkey. So there you have it, K Flowers. I took 4 international trips this year: Portugal, Japan, Sweden, and Italy, along with a 7-day cruise from Italy. All right, the next question is from SDSD4139, and they ask, now that you are in Florida, will you become a Bucs fan, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers football fan? I will not become a Bucs fan or a Dolphins fan, for all that matters. As horrible as the Ravens are doing right now because Lamar Jackson, well, I can't even blame it on Lamar Jackson because they was losing when he was in the game. But as horrible as the Baltimore Ravens are doing right now, I still support them. I still am a diehard fan of the Baltimore Ravens, and I will always be a Baltimore Raven. So no, I will not become a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan or a Miami Dolphins fan. The next question comes from Be the Change You Want Today. Be the Change You Want Today asks, what's your favorite video? Now, when I read this question, I thought, what in the hootenanny? How am I supposed to choose or even remember? I made over 1,000 videos, and it was like, oh wow, my favorite video. I can't even begin to tell you what is my favorite video. Now, Be the Change You Want Today listed a few of their favorite videos of mine. The I Got Busted video, then he or she also liked the I Quit video, meaning I quit my job video, and I think they also said that one of their favorite videos was the I can't think of that third one because they listed 3. If it comes to me, I'll say it. But I will say this, even though I can't at this moment think of what I would say is my favorite video, I'm going to say that any video that I am laughing hysterically is a favorite video of mine. I love those videos that for whatever reason I broke out with a hysterical laugh. They are probably my most fun and favorite videos. Now, I do have a favorite laugh video that comes to mind, and I had to think about this. Well, actually, I didn't have to think about it. This one came to me pretty easily and quickly, and that is the movie video when I was out at Oz Campground setting up my movie screen, and I set up the projector and the spread your legs part of that video, and I just laughed hysterically. That to me was one of my favorite laughs of all time on this channel. And I've had many hysterical breakout laughs on this channel. But anytime I would have to think about one of my favorite laughs, this one will for sure come to mind. All right, so the next question comes from Kiki Shalom. Kiki Shalom asks, do you ever get really lonely being a solo traveler? What are some tips that would help overcome solo traveling? I never ever get lonely on solo traveling or doing solo traveling. And here's the reason why. When you get to the point of frustration because you're waiting on people to decide to go on a trip with you or to travel with you, and you get to a point where, okay, you know what? I'm tired of waiting on people. I'm just gonna do things and go places on my own, and that's gonna be it. And that's what drew me to traveling a lot on my own. I simply got tired of waiting on people to decide for whatever reason they want to travel. And this was way before I started living a campground life and I quit my job and all of that stuff. So out of frustration, I don't want to use the word forced to travel on my own. I made the decision to start traveling on my own because I wanted to get out and see things. And I could no longer wait because my patience at that point was wearing down really thin on waiting for people to decide whether or not they want to go. And as far as some tips and tricks on solo traveling, there are a couple things that I do prior to even choosing or after I choose a place that I might be interested in going. The first one is I always Google and ask, is it safe for Americans to visit whatever the country is? That's my number one question that I always ask and find out after I have decided that I want to go to a certain country. Is it safe for Americans to visit this country at this time? The second tip that I would say I do on every trip is I am a tourist when I go on to these countries. So I always stay in the metropolitan area. I never stay in any remote areas, nor do I ever go into any remote areas when I'm out of the country. Excuse me. I stay in a downtown area or close to a downtown area as possible. Number one, the transportation is always in the downtown area, and it's always good no matter what country you're in. It's always going to be, or not always, if there's a metro is definitely going to be near the downtown area. So that's my second tip. My third tip is I rarely go out at night when I go out of the country. Now, there have been times where I felt like I wanted to go out for a little stroll at night, but I stay in the immediate vicinity of the hotel. But I rarely go out at night because I do all my running around and I tire myself out during the day, where when nighttime comes, I'm ready to either look at a little bit of TV, be on my laptop for a little bit, or go to sleep. So that's my tip number 3. I rarely go out at night. Okay, what else can I share with you? The next tip is I always pre-plan some things to do before I get there. To go someplace and not have an idea of what you're going to do is kind of like, for me, it will put me in kind of like a pressure situation. I know the things that I like to do when I travel, and I check those things out in advance. Viator, the app Viator, have been my main friend for my past travel trips. I go on to Viator, the Viator app. I have it downloaded on my phone. I look up what's going on, what things to do in a certain area, and you can book your excursion or book whatever it is that you would like to do and have it ready in advance. You'll get your ticket by phone, and Viator is a very, very good app for finding out what to do in certain places. What else do I do? I think traveling alone is a certain confidence in yourself. I think you can't be scared. You can't be scared. You just have to be aware. Everywhere you go, every country I go, I am aware. I don't go there being scared. I don't walk around being scared. And I know and have heard many, many comments in my past international trips about, oh, I don't see any black people there. Oh, I don't see any people of color there. That does not bother me. And I will say, every trip that I have gone on, I have seen people of color. Just because you don't see them on camera and I'm not filming them doesn't mean that there aren't any there. Now, have I been to a country where I've seen an extremely a significant number of people of color? I have not, but that does not bother me. I don't, when I choose to go on a trip, look up the percentage of how many people of color go there. But what I do like about all of my international trips is I love walking around and hearing people speaking different languages. And they aren't even the locals there. They are tourists from different countries just as I am. They go there and they go do their touristy things just like I am. And so I love that. I find that fascinating when I'm out and about and I'm passing people or in the hotel, and I might be in the elevator and I hear people speaking their language and everything. I love that. But all in all, traveling solo is something that I think if you are aware and you make certain precautions prior to going there, I think anybody can do it. I think people have a fear because of what they might hear on the news, or I don't let those things. I do my own little research and I make a decision from there. I'm very, very aware when I am in another country. You know, I just go there, I be myself, I do the things that I want to do, and that's it. So if you are a solo traveler or thinking about being a solo traveler, but you have certain concerns, research those concerns according to what country you want to go to. And like I mentioned, I always stay in the metropolitan area because I am a tourist there. And it's like a lot of restaurants in metropolitan area. The transportation is generally good in metropolitan areas. You just have to just be aware and, you know, use some of that common sense that you have, and you will be okay. Okay, the next question is going to come from Racy Williams 9571. Racy Williams 9571. And they ask, is there anything you would change or regret during your RV van life? Okay, so the one thing, first of all, it's only one thing. Everything else has been a learning experience for me. So I would not change anything else but this one thing. And that is, I regret not getting another minivan. I miss my minivan days. I really, really do. And I have thought about it so many times to sell my truck along with the truck camper and get me another minivan and build out that minivan, and that will be my on the road type of vehicle. And I missed it. I really, really miss my minivan days. So don't be surprised if I get up on here and say, hey, I'm selling my truck and my truck camper and I'm getting me a minivan. So I am definitely not opposed to doing that. I have talked to a couple of my friends, a couple of my campground friends about it, and asking them things like, do you think it will be difficult or challenging to sell my truck and the truck camper together? And you know, they gave me their feedback and everything. So don't be surprised, because I've even thought when I go to Baltimore for the holidays to dip into like a CarMax and ask them what their thoughts on, you know, possibly selling this truck and truck camper together, just to get an idea of what like a place like CarMax or any dealership would think of that idea, you know, or what can they do for me if in fact I do decide to do that. But I really do miss my minivan days. I miss being able to decorate my minivan, and it's just it was just good old days. Those were the good old days. It's having those minivans. And I had 2 opportunities to get another minivan, and I don't know why I squandered those 2 opportunities. I had an opportunity when I traded in my gray minivan and I bought the Nissan Pathfinder that I had less than a month and crashed it on a highway. Y'all remember that? And as a result of that, I got the truck. Now, I should have traded the gray minivan in for another minivan. And even if I skipped that opportunity, I should have gotten a minivan when I crashed the SUV and got the truck. I should have got another minivan. But nope, I wanted to try something different, which led to me getting a truck camper, which I like the truck camper, but I'm kind of like, a minivan would be more beneficial to me so that I can build it out. But anywho, we'll see. We'll see. Don't be surprised if I do sell that truck and that truck camper. All right, the next question comes from Shanta22. And Shanta22 asks, what or who inspired you to do RV life? Nothing or no one inspired me to do RV life. It was a time of circumstance. I was going through a foreclosure. I was a huge fan of the tiny homes, the tiny homes and the house hunting on HGTV. And through watching those, I started getting a lot of videos in my feed about van life and people living in their cars. And then that got me to start thinking, oh wow, maybe instead of when I foreclosed the house, and maybe instead of going into an apartment, I should try this lifestyle. And one thought led to another thought, and before you know it, I was willing to give it a shot. I always had in the back of my mind that the worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out and I don't like it, I can just go and get into an apartment. But I want to at least try it. In my head, I knew that I could do it. It was just a matter of actually doing it. I felt like I was built for that, and that, you know, I have the personality to do this lifestyle, and I was absolutely right. And look at where I am right now. So no one inspired me, or nothing in particular inspired me. It was just a circumstance, decision that I made for where I was in my life at that time. Okay, the next question, and I believe this is the last question, it sure is, it's from Hurt 1704. Hurt 1704. And Hurt asks, will you ever go down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee and truck camp? It would make awesome footage walking around downtown, plus lots of good restaurants for you to film videos for your other channel. I have never ever given Gatlinburg, Tennessee a thought until this question. When I saw this question, I got on my laptop and I started looking at things about Gatlin, Tennessee. And I actually was kind of interested in it after looking up some things. And pretty soon, I'm going to get tired of sitting around on this campground. The next thing that I have planned is the big fall festival that this whole block called Queen Anne's Estate is sponsoring. And that's around mid-November. And then after that, I have my trip to Baltimore for Thanksgiving with my family. And I probably hang out with some of my friends if I have time and they have time. Excuse me. But from now until then, I have nothing planned. I will be at this campground as long as I'm able to stay at this campground, meaning I'll get started. Excuse me again. I will start eventually getting restless and wanting to do something. So who knows? Maybe I will take a trip down to Gatlin, Tennessee. And I looked it up. It's about 12 hours from this campground. So hurt, you never know. I might be on my way to Gatlin in another week or so, just to get out and do a little mini road trip somewhere. You know, you never know. All right, guys, that is it for the Q&As. I try not to make these Q&A videos too long, and I'm going to limit them to 10 questions. If I did not answer your questions, I apologize, and hopefully on the next Q&A, I will get to your question. But for now, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. As always, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to watch my videos. I appreciate you guys. You know that. And I have some cool videos coming up. You know, it's funny how content ideas can come to mind in like numbers. I can immediately have 2 or 3 content ideas for the future, and then I go through those little spurts where, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what video. I don't have a video idea, yada yada. But now I am in video mode, content mode, and I have at least 3 video ideas coming up. One of which is I'm going to make one of the meals that my sister ate 3 times on the Italy trip, and I ate it twice. So I'm excited. I went and got the ingredients, as you guys already know, and that video is coming up soon. All right, guys, thank you again, and I'll see you guys on the next one.